late home last night from work, so if I sound drowsy, I always sound drowsy. But if I sound
sound drowsy.
If I sound even more deadpan than normal, it's because I'm tired.
So dead. What if you go so deadpan you come out the other side and you're just really hyperactive? It's hyper.
I have to say, ever since UK Nationals, my fab testing den has been well underway. I've been making a little outhouse in the garden.
Oh, you have? That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really have. And I need to. I'll show you guys some photos at some point.
Is it not really cold out there?
No, it's going to be. Well, it's going to be insulated and everything. And
Oh, okay.
Is it what used to be your? Is it what used to be a garage? You've knocked it down to make a summer house type office.
Testing shed.
Yeah. Now I'm making an actual professional fab testing shed.
Is this why you wanted Shin's Shed to be the name of our Deck Tech series? Or just in the shed?
Yeah.
Deck Tech shed.
I was going to have a bit. I'll open the door and then one day Shin will come down to Northampton and I'll say, get in here. I'm going to film
Get in my shed, mate.
Here's a deck master. Like, thank you. And now it's going to be the little bit.
Yeah.
The thing that took me by surprise was after Nationals, I was absolutely exhausted. I thought the 2-day event, I was completely wiped. And I thought I'd want like a decent break from testing, from doing anything fab related. And then on the Tuesday, I had a long day at work on the Monday after the event. And then the Tuesday, I was like, oh, I need to play some fab. Like I was really getting the itch to get back involved like immediately. But I did manage to take a week off and appease the family without touching Flesh and Blood for 6 days.
I played 3 tournaments the week, and I was going to not play any, so I just got straight back into it. But I'm hopefully going to the calling in Utrecht, so I needed to do a little bit of practice, so that's why I dived straight back in.
We say hopefully because Netherlands have just gone back into lockdown.
But it was really great. I went to my normal local armory on Wednesday and we were expecting like 6 or 7 people and there was like 16 people there. We had like the most people there that we'd ever had at that armory, I think. And it was just like, everyone that had been at Nats came because they just wanted to play the game more, and everyone that hadn't been at Nats came because they've just been hearing about it all weekend and just wanted to get stuck into the game again. So yeah, it's just been getting bigger and bigger. And
you won the hard to find Eclipse mat as well, I hear.
Yeah, I went over to Brighton for the day on Sunday and played a little deck called Earthbriar just before the video came out, telling everyone else how to play it. I managed to get a couple of tournaments in with my insider knowledge of how to play Earthbriar from Simon. And it was really strong. It is such a fun deck to play as well. Like,
it's
Mount Heroicing Command and Conquer is just the most satisfying thing in the game. It's just beautiful.
I think it's one of those things, and I don't know whether it's 100% true, but I think it would be for me, is that if you do very well on a tournament, you kind of feel that you have, like, you've probably done really well, so I'm going to take a break. But if you didn't do very well, to me, I feel like that'll be a drive to go, right, I need to get better, so I need to play more. Do you know what I mean?
Are you saying that because Tripp came 11th, he didn't do very well and therefore wanted to get straight
I had
back
to
on the
play
horse?
more.
I wasn't talking about...
had to show the world.
With the piling of people that just came back from Nats, there must have been like, I went to Nats and I lost a couple of games, and I feel like I can, you just get that drive to just want to practice more and get more games in after losing quite a few.
Well, I've already played more practice games for this deck that I'm playing at the moment than I have for any other deck ever before. So that was
because it's so much fun. On that night, everyone should like and subscribe our YouTube channel and go and look at the deck techs we did for Viserai and Earthbriar recently.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really
go give us a like, give us a subscribe. Patreon as well.
So really enjoying those. So it's really good to see that everyone is enjoying the non-podcast content that we're putting out, and there's going to be more to come from some really impressive fab players. So keep an eye on that.
We have our new Patreon, which we talked about. There are 3 tiers you could sign up for, and we'll come back round at the end of the podcast. We've got some questions from Patreons that we're going to include. So part of the Shrew Dog and above tiers is that you get access to our private Discord, and you can ask us questions, and we are going to use some of those questions on the podcast in future.
Yeah, and we've been giving some of the members there as well some little handy tips that they wanted to know if they were keen on our little insights through the journey of Blitz and CC and heroes that we're sort of rocking in. So yeah, there you go.
Right, before we get into our first talking point, Hamish.
It's beer time.
Hamish, what are you drinking?
Oh, right. Well, I went over to my local, didn't go to the co-op this time, because I thought this little small number might have some different booze. Turns out they didn't, and it cost more. So,
did you go to Tesco's just to spite Dan?
No, I didn't go to Tesco's. I went to the what was it? A Premier?
Oh, yeah. No, you've been had there, mate.
Yeah,
Fuck Tesco's, man.
Fuck Tesco's, man. I go co-op normally, so I got a Strama Pramen.
Good choice. Yeah,
that's a favourite of me. I've had that a couple of times.
No, I did actually sit there and went Stara Pramen. I've heard this from somewhere.
Yeah.
I think Tripp drank this. So there you go. Stara
It's a good one.
He's trying to get down off the comfortizer high horse. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh, there was actually I saw an advert that said I think there was like they actually said, I can't remember the first word. I think it was like a sterilizer. I was like triggered. What the hell? These guys been listening. Oh, I've got PTSD. Anyway, Star Pramen, man. Oh, this is going to taste good. Simon, what are you drinking?
So, in honor of the middle tier of our new Patreon, which is aptly named the Shrew Dog tier, I've gone back. I found something in the garage. I found something in the garage. It's a jackhammer. So today I'm drinking a 7.2% IPA.
Oh my god! They get higher.
Called Jackhammer, and it's actually very tasty.
That does look pretty good.
I'm going to sleep well tonight. Still. Yeah, it's hazy. You love a haze.
Oh, does look nice. Does look nice.
It's hazy, man.
Where's the wild card?
So I got a beer from my. So I talked previous episode about how there's a corner shop near me that has a incredibly large selection of beers for some reason, but fair play. So today I'm drinking the exotic beer Mongozo. It is a banana beer.
No, that's I've had Mongozo before, not the banana one. They're different flavors.
I've never tried
you guys
this.
have got way more variety.
I've never tried this, so I'm going to try it now. I'll tell you.
Oh, okay, come on.
Tastes a bit like penicillin and antibiotics, I'd say.
Wow, it does. It smells like, you know, those banana sweets that you can buy. Yeah. It smells like that, and it tastes like beer. With a slight tinge of banana sweets.
The look on Dan's face says that he might get through half of this.
I think this is more comfortizer than Shrew Dog. That's how I would rate this one, but it's okay. At least I tried it, and it's not that bad. I mean, I've been looking at this for like the last half an hour as we prep for the podcast, being like, can't wait to have that. And I think I've put it up on a high horse, and now I'm tasting it. I'm like, no, it's not as good as I thought.
No. It's on that pedestal.
Have you got a backup?
No, I don't. I drank the backup before we started.
Oh no! Don't. Oh well, let's begin.
Cheers, everyone.
Right. Cheers, everyone. Simon, what are we doing tonight?
Well, we're going to start off with a couple of giveaways. We have some prizes to announce that we've already drawn, and we have a giveaway to announce on top of that. So we've got loads of prizes to give away. And then we're gonna give a bit of we've already started really, but we're gonna give a bit of a national seasons roundup, not only the UK Nats but also what we've noticed and enjoyed from the plethora of other nationals events been going on. We've got some awesome interviews, and thank you Hamish for getting these done with the Tabletop 24 guys. Really looking forward to hearing those. And then, as I say, we're going to finish with some questions from our new Patreons, some of our pioneering Patreons who have been asking us questions on our Discord.
Really good question as well. So we'll
no, what's hot, what's not tonight.
Yeah, I think we'll let that breathe for an episode and do the Patreon question. But don't worry, it will come back.
Oh, I don't. You guys don't know about this, but one of the community members has kindly done us a jingle.
Oh my god, amazing!
Are you serious?
What's hot? No, I'm not. I'm not joking. It's old Buggerlugs. He went out of his way and made a jingle and brought it to me, and he gave me the audio. I gave him some, because I can't help myself. Gave him some pointers about, could you add this, add that. I need some explosions. So
oh my god! So when we bring it back, it's going to be back with a bang.
Yeah, literally. I can't wait to when. Yeah, you'll see. You'll see.
We're going to tease this for next time. I like it.
Yeah, amazing. I don't even know what episode we're on these days.
This is episode 15.
So the live episode doesn't count as an episode number, then, does it?
No, that was Push the Point Live. That had its own name.
Without a number.
Let's do the shit live. Let's do it live.
Right, so let's get started with our experience at Nationals then.
You've missed a step.
What did I miss?
We've got giveaways to announce.
We did giveaways before that. Okay, fine. We'll do giveaways.
We've got to get in early because we announced in our podcast just the day before Nationals that we were going to give away 2 hats to people that had played us over the weekend. So those of you who saw us at the Nationals weekend would have seen our awesomely stylish Push the Point snapback caps sported by
Tripp's
all 3 of us at various
no one
points.
can see.
Yeah, I'm posing for the podcast right here with my hat on. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but it's very good.
And
RuPaul would approve.
Everyone that played, either myself, Hamish, or Tripp, or a combination of all 3, was added. You got 1 entry per Push the Point crew member that you played, and we did a random draw for 2 hats from those people. And I am happy to announce that our first winner, please get in touch, was Aaron Lawrenson.
Congratulations, Aaron.
Well done.
And our second winner, who's actually local to me, was Jacob Hand.
Woohoo! Well done.
So fun fact, both those people beat me at Classic Constructed. So thanks, guys, for beating me. But you got a hat out of it, so great.
There you go. I played against Jacob Hand on round 9 on stream. So that was 2 entries. And what about you, Simon?
And I played Aaron in the draft just before top 20. No, top 8. Just before.
Would have been top 8. Yeah, both really strong players. I really enjoyed playing against them. So I think Aaron was running Ice Lexi, which was pretty hype.
Yeah, super.
Shame that he didn't manage to get to top 8. Could have cleaned up. That would have been amazing.
I think that was a good meta read as well. But just unfortunately, I think the draft was not kind to him, especially pre top 8.
And Jacob was playing Dash, so another really strong player on Dash too. So great job, guys, and we'll get in touch with us. Get your address. We'll get your address, and we'll send those hats over to you as soon as possible.
Awesome.
And then to celebrate reaching 330 subs on YouTube, which blows my mind. It feels like yesterday that we were we were really gearing to get to 169, and now we're nearly double 169. So we would like to celebrate by giving away another hat to so to be involved in the general giveaway for another Push the Point hat, you need to make a comment on this podcast on YouTube, please. And that can be anything you want. It can be suggestions for more content that you want us to do. It can be feedback on what you like about the content that we do. It can be how awesome you think Hamish and his drink choices are. It could be how amazing you think my Earthbriar deck is. Any and all of the above.
You're a cheeky bugger.
So please get involved, make a comment, like and subscribe for the channel, and we will do a giveaway on our next episode for another hat. Now, the final giveaway, because we're feeling really happy about our new Patreon, is just going to be a Patreon giveaway. So if you are a member of our Patreon of any tier, when we record the next episode of the podcast, you are automatically in a draw for a hat.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So
that's great.
Yeah, you should have a better chance if you become a patron, because we don't have a huge number at the moment. So sign up. You've got a good chance of getting a hat. They are really, really nice. and there's only 10 of them in existence at the moment, so pretty exclusive. 3 of them obviously belong to us 3, so only 7.
We should have had them. We should have had like a grey bit of silver and just call them cold foil hats.
Yeah,
and then we just cut production.
Or maybe we'll change.
And then we can
design.
do a gold foil one.
We'll change the design slightly for the next release.
These are first edition hats, so maybe next time they'll have a different colour or
cold foil hats.
I don't think we should do any more of these. I think we should. These are the only 10 black caps we'll do. I think that's cool.
Limited.
This is cool. So yeah, sign up and take part. It all helps making us do more things.
Yeah, all the money is going back into the channel, just so you know. Like, we're just using it to get more prizes and make sure we can afford stuff like sending stuff out for postage and investing in microphones and stuff. So it does all go to support the podcast, and yeah, we're really looking forward to see what we can do with it.
If you're listening to this on Spotify, please remember to put your comment in on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering, there you go.
Should be a link. Cool. So Nationals time now?
Go for it. And now you can go ahead.
Do it.
I'll let you.
I give you permission.
We can now talk about that. So I don't know about you guys. I'm sure you agree with me, but Nationals was amazing. It was one of the best weekends ever. It was just such a good community. Like we always talk about the community on this podcast and how important it is to us, and we're obviously part of the UK community of Flesh and Blood, and this was the UK Nationals, and it just felt like there were so many people there that I knew, so many people there whose names I'd heard but I'd never get to meet in real life, and it just was such a fantastic time from start to end, just hanging out with people, going out for dinner, getting drinks after the event, and I just had the best time. And I mean, the actual competitive play was so strong. I thought the standard was really strong, and it really tested your abilities, and that was amazing. But just meeting people was just so good.
So, some people listening may have heard that there was a little bit of controversy at the UK Nats. I would like to just put that completely to one side, because from everyone I've spoken to that was there, myself, Hamish, Tripp included, no one has a bad word to say about the tournament and how it went from the inside perspective. As Tripp says, it was phenomenal. The community atmosphere was incredible. Sitting down to play against people that maybe you've never met in person before. We've spoken about this on previous episodes, but you've played online. It was just incredible. I was getting a bit emotional there, thinking about how far the community has come to an event that we'd all envisaged was going to happen, and to finally get there and have 88 people sit down to start the national event was just incredible. And I want to thank everyone that was there. I want to thank Living Realms for putting on an incredible event. My body wasn't kind to me the night before. I slept about 2 hours before. Yeah,
you're a rough as dog shit.
I got super nervous, like more nervous than I've ever been for any like med school or professional medical exam. I think just because if you're preparing for like an exam, you know what's coming, you know what you've prepared for. But we've talked about what we thought the meta might be, but who knew? Like, who knows who you're going to get paired against, what heroes you're going to come up against. The pressure.
Line and Briar got us a little bit shooken up when we were figuring out that was becoming a thing. Once I sat down for my first game, I was sort of locked in. Unfortunately, it was against my deck building partner Jason, which was a bit of a shame. But yeah, it was just awesome to be a part of, and like definitely on reflection, walking away with a semi-final place was just beyond good. I was massively happy with the result. Awesome. I mean, for me, I think Simon just pretty much expressed a lot of the words that I would have had said about the event as well. I kind of threw out a lot of my thoughts and feelings about the event on Outcast Haven. Give that a little listen to if you can. I sort of rambled on for about half an hour, 45 minutes on that. But overall, I think I'll just make this point of I was incredibly happy with the fact that I brought Viserai. You know, to me, it was a little dream come true for me on my personal journey. It was the hero that I started this whole thing with, it was the idea of the dream of thinking, hey, wouldn't it be cool to be that guy? You know, be that guy that got that guy to the thing. You know what I mean? It's just this little, a little bit of ego, I suppose, behind all of it. And being able to achieve it was just quite phenomenal. And then having the gold full grasps was just like, I don't care about any of this now. This is, I've just somehow felt like I've won for some reason, even though I didn't. And I know you can just see Faye moonwalk, washing out just as I'm going through this very emotional.
She's currently hiding behind a cardboard box. Yeah, that was brilliant.
You could see a little head poking through. Oh, anyway, so yeah, no, the community was amazing. I loved hanging out with absolutely everyone. I really particularly enjoyed my halfway trek across Leeds with Mark to go get a Five Guys that he said it's only around the fucking corner, but it wasn't. And yeah, it was just.
I hear Tripp took people on a bit of a tour as well. The first night you were there, you went for a long walk, which would take you 3 minutes.
I took them a route that was meant to take 15 minutes, and it took 17 minutes, so everyone lost their minds. That's
was it was it in city centre?
It was just into the city centre, yeah.
Yeah, that was me. I was fuming. I was like, "Fuck!"
It's when you
make me go for a bridge.
When you're trying to corral like 15 grown men who are absolutely starving to a restaurant. It's can be a bit of a challenge, but we got there at the end.
It was awesome, man. I got to go with my best friend. I got to hang out with my podcast team. I got to go with my brother. I got to hang out with the testing squad. I got to listen to the New Zealand guys in our group saying that this Learn to Play event is amazing. There was the memes were flying. The energy was amazing. The drama was exciting. You know, it's everything that you kind of wished and hoped for, and more, really, in my opinion. So, thank you so much for the love, everyone. It was amazing. I can't wait to go again.
Yeah, I just want to play more events and just go to more competitive, like highly competitive tournaments, and it just makes me really excited about the next year when what LSS has got in store.
We need to get you a PTI done.
I know, I need to get a PTI so I can come to Worlds.
I remember the days when we were talking about Skirmish Season 1 and you boys were like, oh, look at me, I've won a Skirmish. And I was like, I can't win shit. I'm only 9th. and now I'm suddenly...
Talking about high-level play, gents, over the last 2 weeks, we've had 20 different national championships, including the USA, Greece, Spain, France, Canada, Netherlands, Sweden, like so many. Have you got any particular highlights? Like, there's been quite a range of winners, but have you got any particular highlights from what you've seen?
I've got one. Oh, what do you want me to
say
then?
You're going to tell us then?
I've got one. I'll shout out to the winner of Greece. Honestly, playing that Oldham deck near the end was absolutely amazing. I'm not going on Facebook at the minute to try and find out how to pronounce your name. Mr. Oh my God, why is the internet so goddamn slow? No, don't fail me now. Well done, right. Yorgos Samaras.
You can do it in post-production, it'll be fine.
No, I'm keeping this all in. Well done, Yorgos. Your Oldham game in the finals was, like, in my opinion, the epitome of how to play Oldham. It was quite amazing to watch. So, that was, to me, a big standout point. There was another one that happened in Canada, but I'm sure that you guys also want to shout that out as well. That was also really cool as well. But those are the two highlight parts. Unfortunately, everyone else that played Lightning Briar. Well done. Well done for your win. Lightning Briar, though.
So on that note, I would just say, like, there were some Lightning Briar winners. Yes, we know.
Some. You're joking.
You're joking.
Not another one.
There were some. Yeah. So one thing obviously I was keeping a close eye on the Canadian Nationals last night, and I feel like we were rooting for Dante Delfico, a close friend of the podcast and the UK community.
Joking.
He did get to the top 8, and he lost in the quarterfinals to an Ice Lexi player, Yuki, who then went on to win the whole thing. So not only did we get our first Lexi Nationals winner, we also got our first female Nationals winner in the shape of Yuki from Canada. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
we've got a first female winner in the shape of Yuki.
Yeah, well done, Yuki.
That's an expression. Come on.
I'm joking.
I think it's cool. We're talking about bringing more women into FAB, and I think it's really positive.
Yeah,
role models are really important. So.
In the last episode, we had that awesome conversation with Caitlin about how do we get more, and then we got our first female winner. This is sick, man.
Got some great feedback on that episode as well, so it's really good to see. Just to say one of my highlights of the national season, because I was lucky to get asked by Steelfur, who's a content creator, to co-cast on the French nationals, which was really fun. And I got to watch another friend of the UK community, Christian Franco, who's been playing Blitz with us since the very beginning in the UK scene. And he managed to win the French nationals as well. So it's really cool to see someone who we've been playing with. He was one of the IRA players like me and Simon, who we've been playing with for quite a long time, take home the French nationals. And he was playing a really interesting, he was playing a Lightning Briar, but it was very much like not a Cheerio kind of thing. Like he had Earth cards and Lightning cards. So it's a bit more hybrid. It was really interesting. He played it in a very interesting way, a lot slower, a lot more careful, and more controlling than I've seen other Lightning Briars play. So really interesting strategy with that deck. So well done to him, and well done from the UK community.
Go for it.
The caster who did the Belgium Nationals, right, inspired me so much. She said, if we get 100 viewers, I'll do burpees. And I was like, this is amazing. I've never imagined burpees and flesh and blood could come together. And that she did get 100. And we got to see the burpees, so that was a bonus highlight to the national season for me.
That's what you want from.
That's what
your content creators.
The games were good.
It's just
the games were good.
Doing stuff for people on Twitch, and not thinking you'll have to do it, and then you're like, oh great, okay, I guess I didn't expect
it. I didn't expect it, and I wanted it more than anything. So that was a little national highlight for me. The Belgian burpees. Awesome. I can't wait for calling. Are we moving on to that?
I mean, we can talk about it, but obviously we've got...
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, let's talk about the calling. So obviously the calling Utrecht is what we're talking about here in Europe. We had some callings in the US that were a big success as well. Now, it's currently unknown whether the event will take place because there's new restrictions in the Netherlands, but it's looking kind of 50-50 at the moment. I'm sure we'll get an announcement from LSS soon, so this might be out of date by the time that you listen to it. But... I mean, I'm gonna go, which is if it's on, so that would be really exciting.
I'm gonna go even if it isn't. I'm gonna
might go even if it's not there. Just stay in my hotel room.
I tried,
but it's just good to see that we're getting our first European calling. Whether it happens in December, whether it happens later because it gets delayed, it's just great to see that LSS is supporting the game in Europe. And I think I'm sure we'll be getting more in 2022 in all sorts of places throughout Europe. And I'm just looking forward to going to as many of those as possible.
Well, there's slated to be 30 callings next year. And that's not even touching on Pro Quests, on Pro Tours, on Nationals, on Worlds. Yeah. Like, there's going to be so many big events next year, and I am so hyped. I can't believe it.
I bet you any money, Simon, our wives are like, oh, when they saw that post, they were like, great.
So I may have already suggested that we go on a family holiday for wherever Worlds is in November next year. So LSS, I'm hoping that you're going to make wherever Worlds is a nice destination of a very temperate nature in November next year. So if it does happen to be in the Southern Hemisphere, in New Zealand, in a country I've never been to, that would be great. Thanks very much.
It's got to be New Zealand, right? I feel like
I'd love it if they turned around and went, lads, it's in Kenya. Wow.
Yeah.
Buckle up.
Just
it's going to get hot.
Yeah. I think it'll be in New Zealand.
It's going to be a tough one, isn't it? I think Las Vegas makes sense because there's huge market in the States, and we've seen that from, as you say, Tripp, the callings and the national events. 400 people plus in their nationals event. I think Las Vegas would make sense, or another US destination. However, the first World Championships in the country where the game was designed and made would be pretty epic.
Yeah. But we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. And it's just really exciting to decide where it's going to be. And more opportunities to get there, please. I'm looking forward to more opportunities to go PTI because I still don't have one. So.
And you know what? Rating up.
Yeah.
What we can be sure of is that when we have these big events, there will be people to stream them. And I think Hamish has been out and had a bit of an interview with a couple of people who were heavily involved in the UK national stream.
Yeah, we've got Alan from Tabletop 24 and Barry from Bads the Bard that helped support Alan with all of the as an MC in the streaming. So the pair of them did a fantastic job, and here they are. Oh, Barry, it's like old times.
It is old times. It's like the old podcast team is back. We just need Pedge.
Oh, we do, yeah. But I mean, we've done some stuff with Mike Kerslake and his brother Sam Kerslake back in the day. Do you remember them?
Yeah, we did. Started on 40k Conquest. We did stuff for Champions, and then L5R. So long times.
It does feel like we're it's come full circle. But this time, I feel it's a bit different. This time, you're on as the interview. I mean, I love it. We've got our separate channels. We've got Baz the Bard, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. So Barry, tell us a little bit about the content that you produce.
So the content I produce is I pack up my trusty GoPro and I travel round to various stores and just record top 8 matches. So I've been very fortunate to record at Boards and Swords in Derby. I did a few there. We did the pre-Road to National games. I did the Road to Nationals, and then I have started covering the Armoury events at Manascrew when I can get there. So hopefully that will become more of a regular thing on a Mondays. Now I shall pump out the individual games through the week.
Nice.
And then when Kingdom Gaming starts running theirs on a Thursday, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can start covering there as well. But it's just logistics, and trying to get around and covering stuff. So,
all right, sweet. So you were there as the how I like to call it, the MC at the UK Nationals with Tabletop 24. How did that come about?
That came about. I was doing quite well on the leaderboards. I was sitting pretty about 26, and I thought this was all right. Yeah, they're doing all right. Just hitting the armories at Manascrew. Just chipping away, just trying to make sure I'm getting a steady stream of XP. And then got to the pre-release and absolutely just bombed in my pre-release.
No.
But yeah, it's the next thing I knew, Alan contacted me. He just went, "You do realise you're in 88th place?" And I was like, "You're joking, aren't you?" It's like, that can't be right. A couple of weeks ago, I was sitting pretty on 26. So yeah, I just didn't have time to smash out some armories. You had some at Northants Road Menders. We had Manascrew, and then Adam was doing a few more at his Kingdom Gaming. I just couldn't get round.
There was also I've got a friend called Steve in Kettering that he had some at Little House Gaming as well. So there's all the armories, but you just couldn't.
Yeah.
I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling.
Thing is, I got rid of my car, so it was sort of like I couldn't get over to Kettering. But we're very fortunate in the Northamptonshire area.
Oh, very much.
You can pretty much play 4 days in the week. You just this is brilliant. You can get loads of stuff in. So yeah, it was a bit unfortunate, but I think I ended up on 108th place.
All right.
And then I was just like, yeah, fair enough. You contacted me to see how I was feeling because you knew I would have liked to have gone because we've travelled in multiple games. We've done the tournament scenes, and it's sort of like you've got your tournament buddies with you when you go, haven't you? So
absolutely.
Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. Alan said that that he'd managed to get the stream with Living Realms, and then he was just like, I need help. I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, do you mind, coming with me and helping out? Because, trying to run this by myself is just going to be a bit of a nightmare. To try and get interviews and chatting with people. I mean, yeah, it was so hectic for him anyway. So I was just like, well, if Living Realms give the go ahead and they're quite happy with me doing it, then yeah, I'll give it a go. I know a lot of people from the scene. I was jumped in on the online scene for Fab, and then we've gone round to a few tournaments together. So yeah, it's just having a few chats, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
So yeah, it worked out really well. Living Realms. They took a punt. Because I've only met them once when I went up to their skirmish season 2. I had a really good laugh there. And I think it stemmed from there really. So yeah.
Well, it was awesome. I was so happy to see that you were there, and all the experiences of doing content together. I just knew that you're one of the best men for the job to, really get the information out there in typical style, like you're watching, a golfing match. You're very good at that sort of stuff. So I was dead chuffed to hear that you were there to help support Alan to get this through. And in the end, it felt like the whole thing was, it was just a match made in heaven. Really, you had Alan being really, with all his kit, just doing everything he needs to do. And he was just left, had you as the MC to just get the interviews down. And I thought, this is sick, man. So
yeah,
it was very good.
Certainly a bit weird, when Alan just goes, right, I just need you to turn the microphone on and just, have a chat with someone. And I'm just like, okay. Normally I've got a wingman already that I already know. Like when we did the podcast, I'd have the Simon role, teeing up stuff, and you'd be the main voice, and I'd just chip in a few questions, and we'd rattle through it. So it was a bit weird. I haven't really got I haven't got a list of what we need to cover, to a certain degree, but it was kind of like, okay, right, I'll just grab the guy who just won. Let's have a bit of a chat. I don't really know you that well, or some of them I didn't know.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, we can work through this. It'll be okay. We're just talking about Fab, for Christ's sake. It's not going to be hard, is it? So, yeah.
No, but I loved it. And yeah, I guess really just one of the final points is that, what was the takeaway moment or moments that you had at the UK Nationals?
Just everybody's love for the game. Like, okay, we'll address the bugbear. Yes, there was a bit of controversy, but generally everybody's mood in that hall was amazing. Everybody had a big smile on their face. Mm-hmm. No matter how badly they were doing, like you would, I would go and see people that were near the bottom of the table and they were still having a good giggle, and it was just brilliant. And you just like, okay, do you mind spending a few minutes with me and we can have a chat? I went over to the drafting tables. I grabbed, the Heralds of Wraith. I had a chat with them, and it was just like everyone was in. It was kind of like a party mood. Yeah. In a way, everybody actually just had a massive smile on their face, and that's what we want to see. And it was kind of like that's what we tried to convey with getting people on, and trying to cover such a broad spectrum of the UK community. It was just like, right, come on, let's see what you're about. Promote your store. Let's have a giggle. Let's have a talk about the game. There was a few points that LSS had a little sheet. They wanted certain questions that needed to be asked. Sometimes,
okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, sometimes I remembered them. Sometimes I just went with the flow and just carried on talking. Like when we had our chat, it was just like, oh my God, you've just won with Viscerai, you're repping Vis. It's just like, I need to get you up on stage. I need to have a chat. And it was kind of like, it kind of felt like old times, and we were just getting into our flow. And then Jake was just like, can you guys hurry up?
Oh no, I remember that. I was sitting there going, this is brilliant. This is old school. And we're doing it. We're going to do this. We're going to do this live. I was just like, It was really good. That was probably one of the for me, one of the memorable takeaways that I had was that moment that me and you can get back on the back on the doing some content together. But we're hearing like nationals and we're doing it live to an audience. It was just like, oh man, this is awesome. It's just how it's just swung back round and we're doing this together. That was one of the highlights of my moments as well.
It was very weird streaming. I've never done that before. And then you are looking at the comments. You're just like, is it going okay? What are people talking about? You're trying to address some issues. Like, we had to give an announcement about what was going on after round 3, just to, because there was, those talking points. It's like, let's try and cover it. Let's kind of draw a line under it. Let's get back to what we really want, which was, tight gameplay. And that did improve through the nationals, through the rounds and on stream. That did improve. Yeah, round 1, I put a shout out on Discord, who wants to come on? Nobody wants to be the first one on stream. And it was just like, Matt Folks just, he contacted me in 10 minutes and just went, oh, come on. I had somebody else contact me as well to say they would come on. But then you kind of look at the ranks of the players. And I just went, well, Matt's ranked higher in the UK than the other player. So I'll go for Matt. I see that he was ranked, that his game was against Matthew Waters, who I've recorded before. So I knew that Matthew Waters was actually quite comfortable on stream as well. So I was just like, okay, let's go for it. It was a Brian Mirror. You just like, I'm just so sick and tired of seeing Brian Mirrors on stream. It was just like, that's no fault of, the callings. That's just the way the format went. It's just like, okay, we've seen a lot of Brian Mirrors. Let's through the day, let's make sure that we try and not do mirror matches and try and pick up a few matches that people might want to see. Like, I really wanted to get Darren Hazelton's Levier on. I didn't know he was playing Levier until I spoke to him that evening, and then he went on, and I was just like, oh my god, if I'd have known that you were playing Levier, I would have had you on, and then he just like, I really hope he gets through to the top 8 because I'm going to get you on, because I bet everybody would have wanted to see.
Yeah, everyone would want to see that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, everybody wanted to see a vid. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, we don't normally see this match. This your deck was on fire, and it was just like, right, okay, we're going to show a good match. Because that's what you want to try and bring to people. You don't necessarily have, you don't necessarily know what the player's playing. You're trying to look across the tables, at people through, as matches are going on, as and when you've got the time to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good experience. It was one that I want to repeat. I have said to Fabio, I'd love to do it again. If he gets the nationals next time, so fingers crossed he does. That we would love to do a repeat of that and do it. Obviously, the commentary table was literally within a metre of the main table. What now?
Yeah, that's what you're about.
Tesco's.
Tesco's. All right, well,
okay.
Barry, I think. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. We'll catch up another time. Right, nice.
Tesco's awaits.
Cheers, dude.
Right, cheers. So, we've had the beautiful Barry from Baz the Bard, who we just had on, who was an awesome MC for the Tabletop 24. But here is the man, the actual guy that was able to just bring this entire UK national experience to you. In fact, if it wasn't for Alan, I don't think we'd even see the carnage that ensued over the UK nationals. We've got Alan from Tabletop 24. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Hamish. Thanks for having me on.
That's all right. It's like, the most easiest invite to the podcast I think I've ever done, because I think we owe you one massive one for letting us do a Push the Point live on day 2. I mean, we were truly, truly honoured. So, big thank you to yourself, really.
Yeah, no, it's thank you to you guys. Obviously, it was something that I mentioned to yourself previously that it would have been a good idea to do it, and listening to the podcast, being a fan of the podcast. It was something I know we've collaborated on a couple of occasions now with different bits to get out on the live streams I've done for Flesh and Blood. But actually, reaching out to you guys was a no-brainer for me.
Oh, brilliant!
I'm really glad that it came out all right, and it came out exactly as we intended to.
Yeah, it was a proper wing job. I think it was not for you. You got all your bits sorted. I think when we sat there and went, right, okay, it was literally like about 2 minutes before we were going to go on. We're like, right, how are we going to do this? And then we just mucked in and rolled with it, man. And I think you could just tell the whole thing was ad-libbed, and it normally is. But this was like, I was sitting there just like, oh my god, I can't edit any of this.
Yeah, but being ad-libbed and doing it by the seat of your pants, it's all real.
It's good fun.
It's true. And actually, people can see that the podcast is actually very much you guys talking in a room together.
Yeah,
about what you enjoy and what you love.
Well, honestly, I just want to say thank you so much for letting us get that opportunity to have that as well. You know, getting me to jump and meet up with yourself and doing those little, I like to call them the adverts, because you know they're the little adverts in between games, and having that chance to do that as well. You know, thank you so much.
No, and thank you for doing it. And I know for a fact that we'll probably talk again and get you on. For something in the future,
100%. So, want to bring you on, man, because I really wanted to, obviously, again, which we've said, praise you for the amazing work that you did to prepare this. I kind of just want to get a little bit of a, how did this sort of thing come about? You know, how did Tabletop 24 get the chance to be broadcasting UK Nationals?
So, how did we get the chance? Quite simply, I decided that it was something that we wanted to do, and reached out to Fabio at Living Rounds and said, "Look, this is something that I'd like to be involved with. Do you want to collaborate and come together?" But I think the background to that is a bit of a longer story.
Sure.
So very much so. This all started up in March this year, sort of a post-lockdown project to bring Tabletop 24 to all the socials, to raise the profile of what we've done previously, which was a charity event. And we did the first ever live stream I've ever done at the Manascrew Road to Nationals. And it was a thank you there for Mark for actually just bearing with me and having a bit of faith that I could cover it in a decent capacity. And I thought, actually, do you know what? Looking back on it, the output was good. And
it was.
One of the things I've always wanted to do is make sure that whatever I produce is of good quality. Now, the content might not always be the best because it's me most of the time, or bringing in other people and such forth. But actually, it's the quality of what we wanted to output was always up there. And I spoke to Fabio and said, "Look, what are your plans?" And actually, he said, "No, I think this is the partnership that we want to go with. You did a really good job for the RTN at Manascrew, and actually, we want to showcase the UK Nationals in the best way we can."
Awesome. That's brilliant to hear. And to be honest with you, because we're both Northamptonshire local lads, that I've had the awesome opportunity to actually come and actually hang out with you in real life at Manascrew. And I remember when you first started up and seeing this giant rig come up in the Skirmish season 2, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy's showing up with all this hot stuff, and I thought, oh, okay, this is really cool. And then when you did your RTN, I was like blown away how much work you were doing just as a single man project, just to make sure everything works. I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy's nailing it. So the fact that you managed to get into UK Natch was just, to me, I'm not surprised, one bit that it happened. So it was awesome to hear. So the second thing I kind of want to know is what were the highlights? What were the highlights of UK Nationals for you personally?
So big ethos behind Tabletop 24 is the community.
Yeah.
And that's tabletop community in general, from board games all the way up. So the big highlight for me was getting to meet so many people in the community. As you say, the Northamptonshire guys, there's quite a few of us that are players that we meet at different venues, and we've met a lot of the community there. But seeing the guys from London, seeing the guys from up north, that's the highlight probably for me is getting to know and see the community.
Is there any particular moments that you that if I had said UK Nats and there was a thing that you remembered that it just pops into your head, what would that be?
probably sitting in the bar on Saturday night, if I'm completely
honest.
Everybody's winding down from day one, talking strategy for day two, be it whether in the top 24 or going into the Pro Quest. And actually, again, like I say, for me, it was all about the community and actually getting to speak to people and get to know them outside of the game. Now, you can probably name a handful of players who who their favourite hero is, but actually getting to talk to them, okay, well, what do you do outside of Flesh and Blood? And actually, what are you about? That was a real big highlight for me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think the whole thing was absolutely nuts, from the fact that the entire thing was set up with you, and then you went, Barry, can you help me just do all this? But you pretty much brought the entire thing on your shoulders. Do you know what I mean? I don't think people realise how much that was just a one-man job with Barry's support. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and actually, without Barry, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I mean, I did the Battle Hardened on my own, but as people saw, there was no inter-match discussion. It was pretty much me running around doing that. And so, yeah, without Barry, we wouldn't have had anywhere near what we did. He did such a great job with the players. I think everybody that spoke to him felt at ease, and actually he asked them what they wanted to sort of talk about and run through a few points. And yeah, you're not going to make everybody happy with those sort of discussions, but actually we were very much, and I've said it a few times, but about the community, and we want to showcase some of those players out there and actually get their opinion on where the game's at, or their opinion on how the day's gone, and picking that up. And yeah, it was good to have him there. I couldn't have done it on my own because it just would have just been mainly recording the games, and maybe that would have been enough, but we wanted to go that extra step, and we're constantly learning about what can we do to improve, what could we do next time, what could we pick up with. And I've spoken to a lot of people in the community. I want the feedback. The challenge for me there is I want the feedback on the content, not the games, which I know is quite hard. So because, like we've said all along, I was there to record, I was there to put out the video and do a decent job at that. It's trying to get that feedback back, because we want to learn, we want to develop, and want to grow it.
You're the stage, not the performers.
Yeah.
So we just want to make the stage as good as it can be for the performers to do their performance.
Although I did make Barry perform a few times.
Oh, there you go then. That's even better. He's your MC.
He definitely is, and he was a good one at that.
Yeah, very much so. Right, Alan, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you so much for joining us finally, for joining on the podcast. And again, I've said it, but thank you so much for getting us involved with the streaming experience of UK Nationals. It was I don't think you realise how much it helped us, push us as a content creators even further. So honestly, dude, thank you so much.
No, absolute pleasure, and thank you.
So Simon, I think we have a question from one of our patrons that we're going to be answering. Is that correct?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just enjoying my 7.2% Jack Camo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm just looking at how many. Why have I got two Facebook tabs open up, and why are they moving at the same time?
So we had a question from Ryan Cooper, otherwise known as Rawn, on the Discord. Long-time listener of the podcast, and do you know what? He's awesome for the community. He's been making blitz decks from commons and bulk to send out to people and get people involved in the game. So shout out to Ryan. He's been, ever since like early days of the game in the UK, he's really been pushing to get people involved, and I think that's awesome. And now he's supporting us through our Patreon and asking good questions to try and improve his own play. So his question is, with the format changing to blitz now, what do we three feel that Tales of Aria will do to the previous meta? Do we think that Briar will excel, or will we see Lexi kick some butt? And are people finally going to find a deck for Oldham? Will Kano, Dory, Ira still dominate?
What a great question for me to any excuse to talk about blitz is always good.
You are the blitz correspondent, Tripp. Come on.
You see my face just light up as soon as blitz comes on. as a topic of conversation. What do you think, Hamish? Why don't you get in early?
I'll just get in early just to say my bit, and then I'll sit down and let you have a lot of fun with this one. So I think that the Lightning Briar list will probably do its job in Blitz because it's really easy to do, and it's 20 health rather than 40. I think Oldhim might be okay. I think Lightning Lexi. I think maybe the Lightning Lexi Arrow build, just be super aggressive, might work. Other than that, I don't think Ira, Kano, or Dorinthia are gonna shift because I think the format is stale and boring. Anyway, I'm gonna sit here and let you guys have fun.
Yeah. So I think in terms of the new heroes from Tales of Aria, I actually think that Oldhim is really well suited to beat Ira and Kano. So I think the reason why it can do so well against Ira is that it can force that deck to run out of threats. So one of the things that people were doing against Ira in the last Blitz meta, or what Bravo was trying to do, was to basically reach a point where Ira no longer has any like red attacking cards left in their deck at all. And then they would just hit you with a hammer and just try and kill you by using their healing or just using a dominate attack to kill you. I think Oldhim can do that really well and keep a lot of cards in deck. So I've played up against Finbar's build of Oldhim in Blitz, which worked around pitching Pulse of Eisenloft and utilizing Oak and Old to finish the game with a 9-power dominated attack at the end of the game. That was really strong. It's a bit vulnerable to using cards like Exude Confidence and attack reactions to deal a big burst of damage to the Oldhim or Bravo player. At the Kingdom Gaming skirmish last weekend, I managed to deal like 7 damage to a Bravo on turn 1 because I played out an Exude Confidence. They blocked with 1 card, and then I just buffed it 3 times with 3 blues to deal 10 damage, blocked by 3. So that was pretty brutal. So you can still do stuff like that, which is pretty dirty. Like Hamish said, Lightning Briar is still really strong. I think that deck is going to do well in Blitz because it's so explosive and you have so little health. But I think Ira should be able to hold it off. And Kano should melt it. Oh, and Dorinthia should do really, really well against that deck as well because the Dawnblade will just keep ticking up and keep whacking the opponent for a lot of damage. Lexi, I don't know. Lexi feels like it's an issue because you need too many cards in hand to do what you want to do, but I'm not sure. What do you think, Simon? Have you had any thoughts about this? You said you were toying with the idea of bringing back a mid-range Ira deck, just like the old days. So
yeah, I had to confess earlier that actually, I take part in some sort of long-form Blitz events, and they've just started up again, and I've been playing with the Shiana deck, which is, my Shiana deck from back when is basically Cheerios Briar, but without the free go again from playing non-attack actions, right? So it's fun, but it's vulnerable. It's like a glass cannon. If you get the first 2 turns and you get 2 or 3 4-power attacks off each turn, then you're threatening lethal. But if you don't, and they manage to mitigate your damage, then it becomes hard to break through, and you've got no armor. Briar is slightly different because you've got the grasp, and you've potentially got the Skeletor, you've got the skull cap, so you have got armor to break down some of those incoming attacks. I think Ira mid-range is still in a really good place. I think despite losing Drone of Brutality, Ira can still play all 6 flick flacks plus some sink belows plus some unmovables or fate for scenes, depending on what you've got in your local meta, and I think that can still compete. It can still pivot, it can still threaten damage, and it can still soak up damage. Whether it can do that consistently against Lightning Briar with continuous go again, I don't know. I haven't tested it enough yet.
But in terms of the question, like in terms of the impact the new heroes have on the meta, I think really strong. So we had in the Kingdom Gaming skirmish, we had a Lexi in the top 8, piloted by John Ho, a really good UK player. We had a couple of Briars and a couple of Iras, and I can't remember what the other hero was. There's definitely space for these new heroes. I especially think Oldhim has a place.
Yeah, I think Oldhim is going to, and as we saw with the Greek National Championships in CC, I think once people get their head around building an Oldhim deck that works and doesn't go to time, I think it's going to be really powerful because he has a lot of tools at his disposal to threaten damage, but also to completely negate their attacks and disrupt their turns. So I think he's one to watch. I think Lexi is still on the same sort of aggro output as Briar. I haven't adapted my CC Earthbriar deck down to a Blitz deck, and I'm not sure how that would work, but I think there's always the spectre of Kano. I think people still have to respect Kano in Blitz, and having enough blues, which Oldham does, and being able to do burst damage, which Oldham can, is still quite important. One thing I would say, still don't sleep on Dory. Just don't ever take Dory for granted. I don't think Lightning Briar does well into Dory. That's just my hunch. I've not seen many matchups. It's really hard to race Dory in Blitz.
Yeah, we tried.
We've tried with Ira. We have tried. It doesn't.
The equipment
is
just so efficient when you're trying to block for 4 against Lightning Briar, and you have access to so much equipment as Dory that it's not gonna end well. They can get a counter on Dawnblade and just hit you really hard, and it's gonna be tough.
We moved on from this boring format. Hey, look, right. If we had all three of us saying everything's great, then how would that be interesting?
Yeah.
I will just say this. Blitz is fine. It's fine.
I think it's a great way to get people.
I went back into the hole of, this is shit.
I think it's a great way of getting people into the game, and I think it's a good gateway into the game.
100%.
Having gone from Skirmish Season 2, where I was scrambling around to try and get to every event possible, I think I'm going to make one event for Skirmish Season 3, and it's a draft event. I don't think I'm getting to a Blitz one, it's a shame, but I've also not been prioritizing it because actually...
Well, it's not a chief competitive format of the game. It's a good format for casual play and a good way to get a taste of what competitive Flesh and Blood can be like. But ultimately, Classic Constructed and Draft are going to be the premier competitive formats of the game that you need to know really well if you want to succeed at a really high level. We've seen Sealed make appearances at calling events. I'm not sure necessarily if that's the right thing. I would prefer just Draft and Classic Constructed to just be the two formats that you need to master if you want to be the best at this game. And Draft and Sealed just remain as ways to get into the game, ways to get an understanding of what competitive play is like. But ultimately, they won't be they're not going to be the formats that are getting you ELO or invites. They're just there for fun. And a more casual, it's good to have a casual competitive scene, if you know what I mean. Something for people that want to dabble in that side of things, but don't necessarily want to sign themselves up to going all across Europe, entering callings, or going across the world to play in Worlds, for example. So it's a good
I think Skirmish has been really quite well positioned as that semi-competitive event, and in a format that lends itself to that. I think you're absolutely right.
Cool. Well, thank you for the question, and if you want to ask us your own questions, then consider becoming a patron. And you can always put a comment on the YouTube. If we like the question, we'll probably cover it as well, because that's kind of the way we are. But
the Patreon one, we'll definitely just
with the Patreon we
make a conscious effort to actually throw this out there. So thank you so much.
We've had a bit of a break, and I've really enjoyed being back, just chatting the stuff.
Isn't it been awesome?
That's the 7.2% beer talking, Simon.
Well,
that's definitely.
I'm nearly all the way through. Yeah.
Well, I just want to say, a huge thanks to everyone that's decided to subscribe to us recently. I mean, we've gone up by about 100 subscribers in the last month alone, so clearly we're doing something right. And just welcome to the Push the Point community if you've joined us recently. This is what we do. We just sit around, chat about Fab, and have a good time in a casual way. Even though we all three of us seem to play the game pretty well. Even though we're really casual. We do seem to play quite well.
I hope you enjoyed the deck tech videos that were thrown up as well. That was a small little new venture that we went down. The Shin one was a good tester just to see test the waters on that stuff. And then, we really enjoyed it. And thank you so much, Dan Tripp, for doing all of that work. That it started off with going, hey, I don't have time. Can you do this? And you went, yeah, sure. And now it's like, hey,
well, it's not too. They're not too hard to edit, those ones, and I think they're really useful resources for players who want to understand. You see the deck on Fab TCG, you have no idea like how this deck actually works half the time. So having the actual pilot of the deck sit down and explain how it actually works is really important. And if that's something you're interested in, if you like Briar, if you like Viscera, if you like Dorinthia, check out the videos we already have, and we're going to have some more coming up on other heroes that you will probably be interested in piloting in the near future. So look forward to that. I think we've covered everything we wanted to cover. Is that correct?
Yeah, man.
What a clean... We're so good at this these days. We're so clean. I mean, I'm sure no one will hear the bit in the middle where we sort of stopped for about 10 minutes to try and work something out. But it's all right.
God, it's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the timer going, it's getting there. Anyway, honestly, thank you so much. And see you on the next episode. I think it might be spicy.
Ooh.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. Bye.